Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I've had a lot of changes in my life lately in the past couple months, and it's all great things, but I've been doing a really poor job of balancing everything, and unfortunately that means that my channel kind of got pushed to the side because, real life things. This is Jellybean. He always acts like he is dying or starving for attention. I'm a little bit late. I don't know. I don't think there's really a time to do this. I know that this tag was created during spooky season, which, I didn't quite hit, but that's okay. I'm still a very avid reader of horror novels, and I much enjoy reading horror novels. But while I was doing this tag, I realized that a lot of the horror novels that I read, or have read at least, are very character driven. Not much plot, not much is going on. It's all kind of in the character's head, which I thought was interesting that that's the kind of horror that I like. I don't know, do I like it? Anyways, before I go on a tangent about life, let's just start this tag. So it's called You Want Me to Go Where? Horror book tag. So you can count this as recommendations from me, and I just thought it'd be really fun. This came from Danny from Danny Dabbles, right? Yeah. Around Halloween, but like I said, I didn't quite hit that mark, which is fine. We're just gonna go through with it. Consider yourself tagged if you haven't already done this and you don't care what time of the year it is. I'm not really a seasonal reader. I just kind of do my own thing. So here it is. But if you haven't done this already, you're it. There are 7 questions, I believe. Okay. Prompt number 1. What horror setting would you die the quickest? For that, I picked Fantastic Land by Mike Bachhoven. Now, if the hurricane in Florida did not wipe me out, and I was one of the survivors in Fantastic Land, think like Disneyland in Florida, or maybe Disney World, because that's actually there. But in this book, it's called Fantastic Land. It's huge, massive. And there were over 400 people trapped here after the hurricane. The real horror doesn't actually begin until after they survive the hurricane. So let's pretend that the hurricane doesn't take me out, and I'm one of those survivors. Things get crazy in here. Think like Lord of the Flies. Crazy. These survivors are brutal to each other, and it's like survival of the fittest, survival of the craziest, survival of the meanest. I would not survive in the Lord of the Flies-esque type survivorship because I I always put everyone else before myself. Hence why I've been off BookTube for a little bit. This is something that I really enjoy. I enjoy making content, but I just always push it to the back of my mind because, you know, I have other people that are relying on me, and I always put everyone else first. So if I'm putting everyone else first in a brutal combat situation where it's like your life or mine, unfortunately, I'm going to be one of the first to go in that type of scenario. Okay. Then number 2, what horse setting would you likely survive? So we went from the death of me because I, put everyone else before myself to what I potentially could survive. And that is Dead Lake by Darcy Coates. This has 4 other stories, but no, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. But this is specifically Dead Lake. This is like a novella about this girl, Sam, who goes to like this cabin on this lake that's very isolated. There's no phones. There's no, no connection to the world. But she has a stalker who you think is stalking the house, but then maybe the stalker is actually stalking her. And I think I am just crazy enough to outsmart a stalker. I think that the saying, work smarter, not harder, completely true. If ever, hopefully never, but, I think that I'm sarcastic and a little goofy, and that my sarcasm can get me into trouble. But I do think that if I were in a situation where there was a stalker, I would be able to outsmart them. Do I know how when I'm isolated by myself? Probably not. But I am a very quick thinker, and I'm very smart. So I think I could outsmart the stalker. Things in Dead Lake go off the chains, and I absolutely loved this book. I really like Darcy Coates' short stories, or like novellas. I say that, but then one of my favorite books by this author is like a chunker. Oh yeah, and we're gonna talk about it later, so I'll let you just stop right there. All right, the next question. Oh, let's see. Sorry, for some reason my phone went off, but let's see. 3, scary but satisfying. Which horror world is worth the risk? And this one was especially hard for me, but I'm thinking Into the Drowning Deep by Mary Grant, because in this you follow this voyage on a ship into the deep ocean because they are investigating what happened to the Elantra, to the Atigatis 7 years ago, which was the last ship that went on this voyage. And one of the main character is the sister to the one of the main crew members who, just went missing 7 years ago. So I feel like I would definitely go on that voyage, especially if I was looking for my brother or looking for a missing family member. I think that sometimes the worst part about like missing people and things like that, like not missing someone, I can miss people, but like people that go missing, is that you never have that closure. You never get that answer. You don't know if are being held hostage, or if they're just out in the world, or if they've been murdered, or anything like that. So I understand our main character's perspective, why she's going on this voyage, and I feel like I would be that person that would need the answers, and then, figure out the truth is that killer mermaids exist. Would I die when I met the killer mermaids? There's a high probability, but I would definitely go to investigate, especially if my family member had been on that voyage and had been missing for 7 years. So there's that. Then number 4, what or who would you send your worst enemy to? I don't really have a worst enemy. I mean, not really. However, I'm not going to go into detail about this, and I'm going to be super duper vague. But there is someone who I used to hate so bad. And I think that they are not a good human anymore. Ever. I don't know. But I don't spend my energy hating them either. They just exist, and I exist, and that's fine. But I would send The World of the Road by Cormac McCarthy, because in this, it's a post-apocalyptic world. A lot of people don't like this because you never really find out what the apocalypse was. You're just living after the fact when you're just trying to survive. But in a lot of ways, you have to rely on the people that you've connected with. You have to rely on your family in a lot of ways so that you don't have the dangers in this world. So you don't go into the dangerous situations. And I think I would send this entire world, to this person, because in my humble opinion, this person would not do well, because they would have to rely on other people, and they would also have to take care of other people. And their kryptonite is that they can't take care of other people. I know that was super vague, and I'm sorry, but I can't. I literally can't go into any more detail, nor do I want to. I just have been through some stuff with some people, so that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Then 5. Which horror element would you investigate? I mean, I kind of already answered that with Into the Drowning Deep by Mary Grant, but I do have another answer. One of the things that I would investigate is Bird Box or Mallory. Mallory is the follow-up to Bird Box, and it's better than Bird Box, in my humble opinion again. But basically, in this world, this is also an apocalypse. So this is post-apocalypse, so it happens after the apocalypse. This one is during the apocalypse, but there's this monster, ? That if you look at it, you never even really fully know what it is. It's just there. It's something. If you look at this monster, then you go crazy and you start hurting the people around you. And ultimately, you end up killing yourself. So, as much as I want to say I would be smarter than that, I do think that I would be one of the dumb ones that looks. Maybe not at first. Definitely not at first. But I think this is 12 years later. Yeah, 12 years into the apocalypse. And, well, 12 years after the first book. And I think within those 12 years, I would have peaked at what was going on in the world, because I am nosy. Okay, I'm very smart, and I do think I could outsmart a stalker, but I'm very nosy. I love being in other people's business. That's why it's wonderful being a teacher, because they're always telling me their business and everyone else's business. But seriously, I'm so nosy. I love to hear what's going on in the world and to see it. So I think that I don't think initially I wouldn't have looked if I would have put two and two together, that if you look, then you drive yourself crazy, and then, that leads to death. But I definitely would not have been able to go 12 years without peaking. That is some crazy, amazing skills that I do not have. Okay, and then 6. Nope. Which horror element do you want nothing to do with? So I've DNF'd a few books that have this one thing in it, but somehow The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim had cannibalism in it, and it did not sicken me. It was disgusting, but it didn't sicken me to the point where I had to stop reading like other books that have cannibalism. If you want another good book that features cannibalism, but it's not like a big part of it, I mean, depends. Not a first person big part of it is The Road by Cormac McCarthy, but I definitely, if there was cannibalism involved, I'm a goner. I already get disgusted enough as it is with just like regular people food, like the textures of food, and eating eyeballs is not on the table for me. No, absolutely not. All right, this next one is create your own nightmare. So basically, you're gonna create your own horror story, your own nightmare that I don't know if I'm supposed to live through it or not, but whatever. The writer came out in me, so here we are. I'm just gonna go through the different parts of the nightmare that Danny suggested. So the first one is you will choose a setting. So for my setting, I'm picking the Louisiana Bayou, which is from The Butcher and the Wren and The Butcher Game by Elena Arquette. This series is amazing. I don't read series ever. After finishing The Butcher and the Wren, I immediately bought The Butcher Game and read it. Immediately. Same day. That never happens. But in this, you follow Ren and the butcher. The butcher is a serial killer, and Ren is the medical examiner who is trying to catch him. And it's full of twists and turns, and like the butcher is you get his perspective and you get Ren's perspective, and that was freaking amazing, getting both perspectives. And he's demented. He likes to not only kill his victims, but he gets pleasure in playing with them, like pretending that they're gonna survive and then going out and hunting them down. This was terrifying. And I not only do I want to be in the Louisiana Bayou, but I want to be in the butcher's, like, gated, I don't want to say gated, fenced off, like, he has acreage, and he has an electrical fence, and I don't think there's any escape. That is the worst part. Then a subgenre. I didn't really pick a subgenre because I don't know what subgenres I like for horror novels. I mean, I've been reading horror for like 2 years now, but I still feel like I'm fairly new to the genre. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I'm going with it. Scare factor. So for my scare factor, I've learned that I like a lot of survival horror, which is wonderful. So for the scare factor, there is a tornado, and you are just trying to survive the tornado, right? Then a character and a main character. And my main character has come from, I told you, this one's huge, but I love this book, Hunted by Darcy Coates. And my main character is going to be Chris. Chris is a savage. And I mean that in the best way possible. He is in the wilderness looking for his sister Eileen. Oh my gosh, Eileen, who went missing and is presumed dead, I think. He is tracking her. He is going after her. He is such an unlikely hero, and I love him. Sweet little baby Chris. I adore Chris. So, there's that. Then there's a spooky companion. So for the spooky companion, you were supposed to choose someone that's not 100% human. That's not human. It could be a pet. But generally what Danny was hoping for was like ghosts or demons or things like supernatural, paranormal, something of that nature. So here's the thing. I cannot tell you which character because there are literally 2 characters, and this book is literally 74 pages. No, 73 pages. And that is Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke. Just know that you follow a dad and a son, but things are not what they seem to be. I can give you literally 0 more information because twisted, super twisted, and the character that is not human was unexpected to me, so I can't even tell you which character of the 2 it is or what's going on in that book. I was utterly confused. I was very confused for this book. until the end. And then I just like, I adored that. Anyways, conflict and a special edition. So for my conflicts, there's already the tornado going on, and it's already a survival story. Then you're gonna add the home invasion of A Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. I also thought about using the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse because they have this in there too. But I just really like the home invasion part of this, especially when you're already trying to survive something super like scary, like terrifying. A tornado. We don't have tornadoes around here, so if you're someone that has tornadoes and you're like, yeah, that's not that bad. For me, a tornado seems terrifying, okay? But then add a layer of home invasion onto that. This was my first Paul Tremblay book. It's also my favorite out of everything I've read by him yet so far. I've read a couple other things, and I've kind of just wanted to give up on this author, but I love this book, so I don't know if I'm going to. But this starts off with Eric and Andrew and Rin, their daughter, going to this cabin for like a camping trip, and then the stranger danger starts talking to Rin, who's playing outside. And then she runs inside to get her dad's, and a few people, well, I guess 4 people, come out and like start saying, hey, you gotta let us in, and trying to break in to their cabin. Terrifying. Add the layer of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse into this book. Crazy. And the special edition, I think I would add the layer of having dual points of view. So you would have one chapter be from the people inside the house as to what's going on during this home invasion. And then you would have one of the perspectives of someone who is outside of the house in the tornado, who is either trying to invade the house for safety or for more sinister reasons. You're gonna have to read the book to figure it out. I'm not gonna give you all of the spoilers, but that is my nightmare. So thank you for joining me on this wickedly fun adventure. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel, where we're always doing bookish things. I'm going to try to be more regular with my content, so please be patient with me. I'm mostly saying that to myself because I'm not very good at being patient with myself. But if you have not done this tag and you want to, then you're it. And I will see you in the next